want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's new.
Good evening,
Hey, Matt, congratulations on your
everybody. Well,
success,
I'll do this
brother,
first,
and,
I guess.
I really
Jeez.
appreciate you giving, both sides, and just free speech the opportunity to have a platform, dude.
Got it. You got it. Thanks for everything you've done for this country, Eli. We'll talk next time. Tell Jen hello, and I'll have this ready in a couple of hours, and you can share it and take a look. I thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
What's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the show. This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show. My name is Matthew Spear. I'm the host of Don't Unfriend Me, and you can find our wonderful channel over at The Dumb Show and thedumbshow.com. Just stop by. You can pick up some cool shirts, some hats like this, some mugs, and a bunch of other stuff. All high-quality stuff. Veterans get 10% back at the Travis Manion Foundation. Isn't that right, Liv?
Yes.
And who the hell are you?
I am Olivia. Hello, dummies. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Phone number is, I need to put that on your thingamabobber, don't I?
Yes, I don't have it.
You don't have it. No. I've got to put it up right now. Holy crap. It keeps moving. There it is. Phone number 571-329-7576. If you want to get on or you've been trying to get on, you haven't had a chance to get on, now is your time to get on because it's working. So pick up the phone, dial if you want to have a conversation. All right, we got a lot to cover tonight. Whole bunch of videos. I know this is an impromptu show. Olivia goes, so we're laying in bed, and I think this was posthumous from having sex. Is that correct?
Yes.
This was after?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we weren't trying to earn any kudos. It was all, we got what we wanted, so it wasn't us being nice to each other. So she says, hey, we can go on tonight if you want to. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And then I was like, oh, live. And I'm like, well, sure, it's Thursday. We usually don't go on Thursday. She's like, yeah, but it's spring break and the kids can play their phones and watch TV and babysit themselves. So what she's trying to say, for those of you who don't speak Olivia, may I? Olivanese. Sure. It's called Olivanese. If you don't speak Olivanese, it's basically, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm enjoying going on, but I'm not going to quite say that yet because I don't want to full commit. But I want to come on. Is that correct?
Maybe half.
Liar.
But next week I may not be on very much. So that's why.
Why won't you be on a lot?
Hayden's got the play and she's at Tech Week.
Don't make it sound like she's got a disease.
Kidney turned up. I can barely hear in my headphones.
Oh yeah. She's got the, there you go. Is that better?
Better. Yeah. She's got her play. She's got Tech Week. She'll be at the school till 8:39. Got to go pick her up. My mom's coming into town. Ethan's got his first baseball game, and then the play is on Friday night.
Do you think we can get your mom on the show?
Oh,
wouldn't that be fun?
That would be it, but I don't know. You would have to watch your P's and Q's and your language on that show.
Well, that's duh. Okay. Let's stop pretending that your mother hasn't dropped an F-bomb several times in this house.
She has.
Okay. So listen, Tamra, you can take your freaking, pure as driven snow, prudish ways. I know the real you, and you may not have the mouth of a sailor, but at least a paddle boat person or something to that effect. So Olivia will be on. Don't worry. She says she won't be able to, trust me. By next week, she'll be so addicted to this show, she won't be able to leave. So she'll be here.
Yeah. Angel Eyes, yes. Matthew got a haircut.
Yeah, raise the ears. I'm not wearing a hat. I've been wearing hats all the time, and I got my glasses on. So of course, put a hat on. Yeah, but I got the ears raised. So We weren't going to come on, but we're on now. So we got a lot to cover. First of all, it's great to see everybody here. We've got, oh crap, there's nobody here. This is what happens when you're on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then you have a Thursday. Folks, I need you to share the hell out of this.
Well, the last time we were on Thursday, it was really, really high.
Well, that's because you smoked a bowl before you came on. So we need a whole bunch of shares, please. So get this out here. All right. So anything interesting today that we need to talk about? Oh, Sheriff Alpy.
Yes.
We want to get, so I was talking to the sheriff today. Well, he's sheriff deputy, and he's on the crash unit. We're sitting at breakfast, and out of the blue, he's like, so what are you doing for work? And I said, still the show. I mean, the show is what I'm doing full time pretty much. And although I'm looking, I'm not, I've been lazy. I've been taking a little break. I'm not going to lie. I'm not looking that hard at all, but I'm plugging away. And he's like, well, why don't you just go to the academy and be a cop? And I'm like, oh. There was a time, I wanted to go in the FBI, and then, it's what happens when you hit the earth at a rapid rate. And then that kind of just went by the wayside. And then I just really never want to be a cop because the money's not in it. But I'm in a spot in life where I don't need to make $250,000 anymore. I don't need to make $250,000 a year or $180,000 a year. I can make 70, 80,000 and the show will fill the gap. But I don't know, Liv. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, we live in a pretty safe area. I mean, you have brought it up several times in our relationship about you wanting to become.
Yeah, but I was drunk usually.
No. Whoa. Something just fell.
What's new? You're here in the room. Of course something fell.
I wasn't even moving.
What's new? It doesn't matter. Anything around you just falls spontaneously. Shit just falls. Go ahead.
So you've mentioned it quite a few times, but.
What do you mean I'm not on Facebook? I have to be on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook right now.
We're on Facebook, Isaac. What are you talking about? We're on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
All right, Facebook. So cop, go ahead.
I'm kind of at the point.
And I'd be a sheriff deputy, right? I wouldn't be a cop.
No, you'd be sheriff deputy.
That's different. Sheriffs are different, right? But here's the thing. Sheriffs have to follow state law and the Constitution of the United States. They don't care about the cities. So, and that's fine. I'm okay with that because I don't know if I could be a cop. I think you're a shill for the cities, but a sheriff's a little bit different. What?
Leroy, Officer Spear, Olivia would love the handcuffs.
Oh, she's already got handcuffs.
I've already got a pair.
Handcuffs are tame. Handcuffs are tame. Like we've got the ball gag and the iron cross and the whole thing, and the cattle prod and the electric fence, right? So the handcuffs are horribly uncomfortable. I mean, especially if you've got some mass up front, you got to go in behind your back. I mean, it's painful. All right. So the pluses and minuses. I've already got my concealed carry. I already carry a gun everywhere, so that's not going to be anything new. Temperament wouldn't be a problem because I'm not in that spot where I want to fight everybody. I'd be nice to people. I wouldn't be a jerk to people. I'd probably let people go. Some, girls there and she's like, I'm having a horrible day. I'm like, all right, just go. And if a guy's like, dude, my wife just left me, I'm all right, get out of here. But I don't know if I want to do that. And a sheriff doesn't do traffic. So that's the good news. It would literally be domestic calls. It would be, assisting with investigations and crashes.
Actually, they do traffic. That's all I see on 7 is sheriffs pulling people over. That's all I see.
Oh, wow. Well, I wouldn't do traffic. I think with my background and with what I did for a living, I think I would probably get something a little bit higher than just walking right into the department,
Yeah.
I come with a lot of experience. So I don't know. I got to decide. I
mean, I'm at the point where if you want to do it, I support you. If you don't want to do it, I support you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be a cop.
What about the other thing you mentioned, becoming a...
porn? No, we can't do porn. I'm too... My OnlyFans page doesn't bring in a lot.
No.
What are we going to
the handgun safety instructor.
That takes, doing that? First of all, the academy's 6 months, but you get paid for it and they bring you in on a contract and then you go through the academy. I'm not worried about the academy. I'll blow through the academy like it's nothing. You got to run a mile. You got to do like 25 push-ups and 25. I'll do the Murph challenge on these. I'll lap people. I have no problem with the physicality of this. That's the easy part. And then the aptitude test, please. I'm not worried about any of that. Like I probably know the Constitution better than all the cops that are on the force right now. So I just, it's would I enjoy it? That's my thing. Would I enjoy it? Chris just commented on Rumble. Take a peek. But anyway, I don't know. So you guys,
I don't see anything.
refresh it. He's got to. I just saw him pop up.
I don't know. It's not there. Nada. I don't have
That's
anything.
weird. I got it right here. Hold on. I don't see it either.
That's why I'm saying. I'm like, if people are commenting on Rumble.
Oh, it's not on the video, knucklehead.
Well,
it's on the chat to the right.
I am on the chat.
It's right here. I see it right here. It's right here. Don't unfriend me. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is I'm not seeing it. So if anyone's been commenting on Rumble, I'm not ignoring you. I don't see it. The only one I've been able to see was Judy, and that's it.
Well, that's weird. But I can now have Rumble chat open. Look at that.
Well, that's cool.
Isn't that cool?
Hopefully you can see it.
Well, everyone go spam Rumble and let's find out what's going on.
Somebody on Rumble, send us a comment.
If you want to see tonight's show on Rumble, folks, I wish people would read the damn comments on the video. It's on Facebook and it says right there's a URL that says, this is how you watch on Rumble. Come on, people. There you go. See? Rumble.com. Rumble.com.
What's on your mind?
I don't know. All right. So I need to know, should I be a cop? Should I go do it? I mean, and I'll be honest with you. It's kind of like, I feel a little low rent. I feel like I'd be taking a step backwards, but I'm getting older. I'm 50 years old. I could do that for 15 years, retire, get a pension, and be good. And then do the show,
I think
unless I get killed.
You're not going to get killed. I guess the con would be, on the days that you are on duty, you wouldn't be able to do the show.
That's not true. It depends what time my shift is. If it's 7/7, I come live that night. So say my shift is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's fine. Or say my shift is, I would just get the early shift. I'd probably do the 6 a.m. to the 6 p.m.
And are you going to want to come on live for 2 hours after working 12 hours?
What's the difference between then and now? You know what I mean?
Now you're working, but you're sitting at your desk and doing stuff for the show.
Easy. Don't make it sound like you don't do anything.
I didn't say it. And I said you're on your computer doing stuff for the show and writing and recording your shows and all that. You're not out on the street and patrolling and then 40 pounds of gear and getting up at 6 a.m. So it's just a matter of change of lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It might help with the death threats that you're getting.
Well, that's.
I don't think anyone's gonna fuck with you if you become a sheriff.
I don't think they do anyway. I don't think people have the cojones anyway. What's crazy is that as brash as you are, which I like, more aren't following. Holly, it's you're too old. What the fuck?
Who said you're too old?
Holly Holly. Holly, here's the thing. I got 152,000 followers on Facebook. What do you want from me? I understand Rumble's slow, but you also understand that Rumble it has a very particular brand of style that they promote, and then they don't promote anyone else. Their system is horrible to find new people. And although it's slowly growing and progressing, it's not it's not just come on. Now, if I go on here and I talk about conspiracy theory and share Q shit and just, J6 and stolen election. Oh shit, I have 1 million people. But see, that's not what I do. I don't think it's that I'm too old because maybe some people are turned off by that. But Dan Bongino has a ton of followers and we're very close in age. Crowder and I aren't horribly far apart,
Why would age have anything to do?
Well, because the younger generation is what she's saying. But
is she talking about being a sheriff? She's talking about this show. I guess I'm fine.
Follow along.
I'm trying.
I just read it to you.
I can see it. It says all she says is you're too old.
Yeah. Well, but she said something above that. She goes, what's crazy is that as brash as you are, which I like, more aren't following. And well, I think, like I said, I think a lot of it has to do is that I don't necessarily curtail just to the right, is that I tend to bring a balanced perspective that a lot of people don't like. They want me to be 100% right. And that's it. And that's not the way I am. And I'll never do that. And it's very popular on Facebook. It's very popular on the podcast. I mean, the podcast is crushing. It's my second biggest platform. through Spotify video. That's doing well. Twitter is crushing right now. I mean, we've 5,000 followers in less than 2 months. That's really good considering they were throttled as hell because you're Republican. So that's doing well. And Rumble is climbing slowly but slowly. But yeah, it's not the easiest thing. Oh, people are.
Now they are.
Now they are. Florida sheriff, that goes live, is awesome to watch. No offense. Oh, she goes, no, being a cop. Oh. I'm too confused. I see. As brash as I am, white more people are following are different than You're Too Old. You're Too Old is directed towards the sheriff.
Got it.
Brash is, okay, good. Why am I too old at 49? I'm in fantastic physical shape. I've got the cardiovascular system of an 18-year-old. I've got 13% body fat. 72% of my makeup is muscle mass. I work out every single day. I have a resting heart rate of 62. My cholesterol is, oh God, it's so good. I don't even know what it is. Like the doctor, the last time I got my cholesterol, he was like, dude, you need to eat fat. He's like, you need more fatty food. Your cholesterol's too low. Blood pressure is 118. I think. I can run 3 miles at 7.5 miles an hour. Yeah, I push 65,000 pounds every workout. I don't know. I feel pretty fit for a 49-year-old. Maybe this isn't, because you got an angle on me here. But most of the viewers who know me know that I'm in fairly decent shape. Don't let the chubby little cheeks fool you, because that's been there since my whole life. I've got them on the back end too, right, Liv? Whoosh. So, I don't know. I got to figure it out. I don't know. Hey, dummies. Mary from Rhode Island finally up to watch me. Hello, Mary. Let's see. By the way, we have a 62-year-old, Sheriff Alpy. He's 62, fit as hell, good guy. And he's going to retire. So sorry you don't get my notices on Facebook anymore. All right, so let's get through it. We've got some comments up here. Hey, Matt and dummies. Hey, Amy, Kristen, hello. It's good to see you. And now everyone's coming on. Matt, good evening, everyone from Mesquite, Texas. Phone number's up, folks, 571-329-7576. If you wanted to talk about something, it's the time. Lisa is here. She has a Joe... Leiden has a trans Joe Biden image.
That's funny.
Wow, he is scary. Well, at least we know if Batman needs a new Joker, we've got it under control.
Yeah, Colleen's right. The beard would have to go. I'd be a little bummed about that one.
Yeah.
That's a big con. That's a big negative.
But man, my handlebar mustache would be strong.
He said it can't be a handlebar. It's got to stop right at the corner of your mouth. It can't be handlebar.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do I don't think I'll do it. And then before I even went in, I would go in and I would immediately cut and drop 10 pounds and really just hit cardio. But I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do it. All right. Good evening. Hey, Matt and Olivia. Hi, Carol Davis. Amy is here. Frederick is here. Good to have you. Jason, what's up, buddy? I love that picture. Angel, hello. What's for dinner, y'all? We already had dinner. What do we have for dinner? Oh, chicken, rice, and green beans.
We met Hayden's new, I don't know if you'd call him boyfriend.
Like interest is the
crush.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Crush?
it's a crush.
All right, so let's talk about that real quick. He came over to the house.
He came over, I guess, since you told the story that she texted you and said, I asked a boy out. He wants to meet you.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to play a game of chess against you.
Yeah, he wanted to play me in chess.
We invited him over. He came over in a button-up shirt, and he put gel in his hair to style it. And Hayden's like, I've never seen gel in this hair. So, I mean, that's respectful right away. So, I mean, he
confident kid, man. Confident.
Like, shook my hand.
Wicked confident. Like almost arrogant. Almost. Which, you guys know I loathe people who are arrogant. Go ahead.
And I liked him. He was a good kid. He stayed for dinner, and he was very polite. And
call me sir.
Yep. And he's a good kid. Hayden needs somebody that isn't going to kowtow to her. She's so strong that she needs somebody that can butt heads with her a little bit.
Yeah. And, and I sized him up. We played chess. Ethan beat him in chess. He's actually really good. He played me hard. Really hard. Yeah. And I wasn't easy on him. I had him beat in the first 12 moves. And then I just I said, I got you right there. And I said, don't worry about it. We took her hand off the piece, whatever. And then he could have taken my queen early, but he missed it. And it was a good game. I mean, it was an excellent game. And then Ethan's ridiculous. He actually picks up so quick on things, and he really played him super well. And Ethan beat him pretty decisively. He's a good kid, you know. I like him. We'll see what happens. All right, we got a bunch of comments on here. First of all, if I haven't gotten to you, hello to everybody. Look at all these comments. This is ridiculous.
Lee, that's the same joke that Matt
shit.
said. He said, "How's the frequency? How's his frequency?" You said the same thing, Kenneth.
Oh, I know. I said the same thing. Yeah. Look, dude, Ethan's here, Liv. Hello, this is Ethan.
How are you here, dude?
Hey, buddy.
He's under your name.
No, he has his own YouTube account.
Oh, he's in YouTube.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. You can see the little lower right-hand corner. He's got a little YouTube star right here. So Ethan's, yeah, he's Ethan. My son's on.
Oh, he needs to change his picture.
He put a ton of smiley faces. What's up, man?
He's dancing.
He's over here dancing, having a good time. All right. Real quick, come say hi.
That's awesome. You need to change your picture.
All right, come over here. Say hi to everybody. Show everybody that you're on. Say hi. All right, now get out of here and leave.
Hello.
Leave. Get out. All right. So good to see Ethan on. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, make sure you spam some likes on YouTube. Share it, buddy.
Love you.
Share it. Share it. Get it out there.
Share with your one follower.
With your one follower,
which is your sister.
All right. So there's a ton to share tonight. Like we've got a lot. I mean, this is not going to be a simple dimple night in the least. Got a few other people on Rumble. Good to see. So yeah, I can see Rumble chat right here. Isn't that great?
I can now. I haven't been able to see it since I've been on.
Yeah, I just don't think you knew where it was. Let's be honest.
No, I did know where it was.
Whatever. I don't believe you. All right, so let's do this because man, we got a lot tonight. So first of all, let's see. I want to eeny miny mo this real quick. First of all, folks, the phones are working. I assure you tonight, they're working. They're working. So call if you want to. Olivia and I tested them like 16 times. And we've got 9 times. All right. So let's go into it. What are we going to talk about? We've got a bunch. First of all, there is a video I wanted to share, y'all. And it seems like we're doing a lot of videos lately, which is fine by me. I think it's a good thing. The first one is from a woman who wanted to convey about transgender people and give her opinion on what really Christian conservatives and just anybody in general who doesn't agree necessarily with the lifestyle. Colleen says, why did the phone number change? Well, because we were using Skype and Skype was just not working. Here I can stack a phone call. I can call people back. It's on an iPhone. It's going to be clearer. It's going to be crisper. So just call. There's the number, 571-329-7576. So we're going to listen to this real quick. And these are all on TikTok. And these are the generation. I've got a video to show you that I did. I did a little bonus video. I'll be posting it after the show. And I really break down the marketing ploys and how everyone thinks the woke movement is really these companies, forcing pride and transgenderism and mutilation of children. And honestly, that they're doing it from an altruistic standpoint. And they're not. That's not what they're doing it for. And they're only doing it for money. And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to walk you through it. But this video first will kind of set us up for that. Let's give it a watch.
One of my favorite ways to engage with trans.
Immediately, if you in 1 second can say 4 words, you need to stop. I mean, it's just like, we know meth is involved of some sort. Here it is.
One of my favorite ways to engage with transphobes is to ask them very simple questions about the humanity of trans people. So the one that I've been doing.
Okay, first of all, the humanity of trans people. Let's break that down. What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm not transphobic, so I don't know. Do people who are transphobic, do they think that they're less than humans?
I've never heard that. I've never heard anyone say that trans people are less than human. In fact, I vehemently disagree with that. And I've never heard it in my life. And trust me, with the amount of interactions that we get on the site, 30,000 comments a month, I would know. I would have heard it. I've never heard that. Now, I've heard people, use some poor language I've heard some people be a little homophobic, but say people aren't human or they're not part of humanity is asinine. I mean, I think you're then, if you're saying that, you're going into Third Reich territory where people are looking to annihilate a certain group of people. And I just don't think that that is the mass collective thought when it comes to transgender people. I think if you're human, you're a part of humanity. And when you say people, that also, so essentially when she says this, and if we take it back just a little tiny bit, is to ask them very simple questions about the humanity of trans people. Okay. And I'm going to answer it. So here it is.
About the humanity of trans people. So the one that I've been doing a lot more recently, instead of engaging in lots of long debates about being trans or like the transgender ideology bullshit, I ask, do you know any trans people in real life?
Yes, I do.
I do.
Yep. I know trans people in my life. Yep. There's the answer to your question. Now what? What's the next question? So do I understand the humanity of trans people? Yes, they're human beings.
Yes.
But they have rights. Mm-hmm. Trans rights are human rights. We all agree. Now, what's next?
Know any non-binary people in real life?
I have no idea what non-binary is.
And neither do I.
It's a made-up term. And I understand what binary means. To have two opposing choices or two consecutive choices or two choices that are in line. Non-binary means that I would assume is that there's more than one gender, therefore you can't make it a binary choice of 1 and 2. I don't believe that. There are two sexes and two genders, male and female, and male and female.
Yeah, I don't remember when we went to get the ultrasounds for the kids to find out what sex they were. I don't remember the doctor saying it could be a boy, it could be a girl, it could be a whatever or whatever.
Never.
It's a boy or it's a girl.
It's a boy or it's a girl. And or hermaphrodite. By the way, I was right with transvestite.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. But a lot of people mess that up. Hermaphrodite has both male and female parts. And a transvestite is a person who changes their clothing and dresses and stuff. So I was correct. Thank you. Ding, ding, ding. But Olivia was still like 3 for 4 last night. So when it comes to this, and it's important, everyone's like, well, Matt, why are we talking about this again? We're talking about it because if we don't talk about it, we won't know how to combat it. And you've got to be able to combat. I don't want to combat that transgender people are human because I agree with you. So far, there's no conversation, except your stupid language that you're making up. There's no disagreement. I'm wondering what you're talking about. And I haven't heard any consensus from Christian conservatives that would contradict anything she's saying. That's it. When you say binary, we understand binary code, and that's what Isaac's talking about, 1s and 0s digital code, except for in a certain amount of sequence in order to generate whatever, image, sound, etc. But if you're talking about a binary choice, it's essentially a numbered choice where it's either A or B, or it's either this or that, where it's a 2-choice option. Hence why it's 1s and 0s and not 1s and 0s and 2s and 3s in binary code. So you have 2 options. Non-binary would be an unlimited amount of options. And that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Now, you can say mentally, like we could have gender, sex, and mental stasis or mental psychosis. And you could go ahead and say whatever you want. But what you don't get to do is say that there are some sort of magical genders. And Olivia, I love your point. Your point makes a lot of sense. And it's really exciting to have you on the show because so far you've been crushing it, especially the last couple nights, with what a great point. When we were finding out the sex of our baby, nobody said anything about anything other than male or female. And that hasn't changed. When you get an ultrasound, they go, oh, well, I think this might be a trans person, or I think this might be a lesbian, or I think this might be, or I think this might be, or I think this might be. So there's nothing genetically that shows that. Even if you were going to do an embryocentesis and draw blood from that baby, you're not going to find out if it's a lesbian or gay or transvestite or anything else.
No.
So ultimately, it's a decision. Is that what we're saying? I mean, did we just solve the whole argument right here on Don't Unfriend Me? That there is no conversation in regards to this? Because here's why. Here's the science. If you can't tell from a blood sample, if you can't tell from DNA, if you can't tell by someone's genetic code, if you can't tell from the physical side of their appearance, and you can't tell by their organs except for what is going on when neurons are firing in the brain, then that means that it's a choice. Is that what I'm hearing? Because you can go ahead and talk about XY chromosomes and all that, but just because someone has an extra chromosome doesn't mean they're going to be a lesbian or a gay person, because that's ridiculous. Because that's not the way it works. So can we say that it's both? Can we say that maybe some people have a disposition to it to be more inclined based on genetics? Sure. But you still can't sit here and tell me that there's not influence from an influential standpoint from youth and everything else, which brings us to the conversation. The only thing Christian conservatives have heard is that they want us to stop influencing children, because if it is a choice and it can be influenced by a certain amount of stimuli from people we trust, then ultimately you can convince a child not only that maybe they are, because it's an exploratory stage, they're confused, they're trying to figure out things, hormones are raging, and that's when we should be the most conscientious of what we allow our children to consume from a physical, from a digital, and an influence standpoint, including books and suggestive material and leather chaps and dresses and guys and girls doing this and that whether it's heterosexual or homosexual or pansexual or transsexual or unicorn sexual, they should not be exposed to it. I mean, that's the argument. Jeremy says, stop using God to press your agenda. How did I do that? Jeremy, please give me a specific example of how I used God in any way, shape, or form and brought the word God into this. Except when we're talking about Christian conservatives, which isn't bringing up God in any way, shape, or form. Please explain to me how I did that, step by step. The phone number is 571-329-7576. You made a comment. Stand by it. What do you mean? Help me understand how I mentioned God in any way, shape, or form in that last 5 minutes and that diatribe of longevity.
Maureen made a comment. What makes her an authority and gives her the position to teach others about it? I know the answer to that. She's millennial.
See, I disagree. No. Hold on. I disagree with that. I think she has every right to say whatever she wants, and I have every right to challenge it. I don't care if she's right or wrong. I believe in what she's saying. She has a right to. She has a right to say it. I would stand by that. So no, I'm not going to trivialize her. All right, caller, you got to turn down. Hey, caller, you got to.
I don't care if she's right.
Caller, you got to turn down your show. It says it. Mute the show during the call. All right, I'm going to turn you back up. Test. Nope, you got to mute the show. Got to mute the show. Nope, you got to mute the show.
You got to turn down.
Nope, you got to mute the show.
Mute the show.
Nope, you got to mute the show.
Give him a sec.
I'm going to turn you back up. Thank you.
Nope.
Give him a sec. Find
Got to
the
mute the show.
on your computer. Hit the mute button on your computer. Just turn the volume all the way down.
All right, I think we got it.
Okay.
Hey, caller, where are you from and what's your name?
Nope.
Nope.
Caller, last opportunity or I'm hanging up on you. You're from California. Last opportunity or I'm going to hang up.
On your computer, just turn the volume
Nope.
all the way down.
Caller, see you later. All right, so folks, it's not hard. You have listened to radios your whole life. You have listened and seen shows where people call in and what do they say? Hey, caller, welcome. First time caller, long time listener. Oh, thanks, caller. Could you turn down your radio, please? Because you're getting it's the same thing here. It's called feedback. All right, caller, last chime. Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Who are we talking to? Hold on, Lake Havasu. All right, Lake Havasu, Arizona. What is your name? I think I heard Jesus. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, what do you want to talk about, Jesus?
I just thought I'd call you because you brought up religion and how he didn't bring it up, but technically you brought up chromosomes, which is taught in biblical theology. So
if I say any word that parallels the Bible or religion, therefore I'm speaking about religion. That's your point.
No, you're speaking about me. I just saw my name.
What? I'm sorry.
What's the comment you made?
I don't understand your point.
My point is, brother, is you're talking about chromosomes, so you are talking about biblical theology. Now, see, I'm not a biblical theology. I don't like it, honestly. I feel like it's man-made. See, everything is predestined. This is predestined doctrine, okay? So I have proven the biblical side of predestination through even myself, because I am one of God's elect. Actually, I was shot with a taser, and that's when COVID happened.
Okay.
2019.
All right, brother. Hey, brother, do me a favor. The LSD that you're taking is truly.
No, I'm really not, though.
Brother. What the? I can say this with a straight face. What the fuck are you talking about?
I love Christ.
Okay, well, you go love Christ, and He loves you too. All right. So if you're gonna call, no, that's okay. It's okay. If you're gonna call, there is a prerequisite. And here it is. If you believe that you talk to God, continue to have that conversation with the Lord. You don't necessarily need to call the show. First of all, when I say chromosomes, the first thing you should not think of is the Bible. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not even going to give that any time, because that was the most random and nonsensical shit I've ever heard from anybody in my life. So, caller, yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm dumbfounded. Here we go.
In the Bible, they didn't even have the science and to do anything with genetics and DNA and grow and know what a chromosome was.
That is what's known as a troll. That's somebody who's trying to distract from the conversation, and ultimately, fine. Thanks for calling in. That would be the first person I've ever just said, no, we're not going to have a conversation. Never happened before. Congratulations. You've got that. Let's give him some congratulatory something or other, please. Thank you, Jesus, for calling us.
Because if you don't, honestly, shut the fuck up.
That doesn't sound very humane.
She's got a potty mouth.
Does that sound humane? How come every one of these people have a bull ring in their nose? What is going? Why is this a prerequisite to be an advocate for transgender people and the LGBTQIAPURST? Suck it up. What it means to me.
ABC 1, 2, 3.
Why do you have to have a nose ring and a septum pierce? I don't understand.
Because if you don't know the lived experience of these people, like if you don't know someone well enough.
What's a lived experience? Don't you have to be alive to have experience anyway? So what's up with the redundancies? Human people, lived experiences.
You could just say experience. I mean,
oxygenated air. What? Fluid water. Why?
She's trying to look smarter than
this must
she
be
is.
Jesus's sister. Or brother. I don't want to judge. I don't want to misgender you.
She doesn't have an Adam's apple.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you're being awfully homophobic tonight.
I am not.
You are too. You're being a homophobe. Knock it off.
Well enough to invite them to dinner over at your house. You don't know a trans person. You can't just be like, oh yeah, so and so has they them pronouns and they're my friend.
I've got
it. To say that you're not a transphobe. Shut the fuck up. That's like.
Okay, so what do you want me to do? Did you want me to answer, or did you want me to shut the fuck up? so it's like you're asking me questions, and then you're like, shut the fuck up. So it's rhetorical. Well, I'm not going to shut the fuck up, and I'll tell you why I will not shut the fuck up. Because here's the honest to God truth: trans people don't want to talk to me. They don't want to talk to me is because I will dispel everything in their head that they think that I think about them. I don't hate them. I would love to have a conversation with them. I'd love to have a whole bunch of questions answered. I would love to hear about their story and what they went through and what they go through, what they feel about the suicide rate in the transgender community, the sexual molestation that happens in the transgender community, the discrimination that happens in the community, the overall murder rate that happens and suicide rate in the community, the mental health issues in the community. I would love to know about these things. And I have spoken to many trans people in my life, but let's face it. Most trans people are terrified of people like me because I am a conservative Christian, kind of. I'm trying hard every day to be a better Christian, but I'm not going to lay claim until I find that altruistic level of being the best version of myself. And I'm not there yet. But military, voted for Donald Trump. And I will say this with no equivocation. I have absolutely zero issue with trans people. And how can you know that? Because I go after the stupidity in the trans community as much as I go after every other level of stupidity in any other demographic. That's called equality. And when I hear stuff like this, I have issues. And it's not because somebody's trans. It's because I have an issue with ignorance and stupidity. That is my point. So if I didn't talk about you or I didn't challenge your thought process, then that means I don't find you of value. And that would fulfill your thoughts about me. So here it is. If you're transgender, call into the show. But there's also another glaring opportunity here. And it's that most transgender people are 0.7% of the population, anywhere from 1.2. Most of those are young people. And recently, in the last 10 to 12 years, we've seen a growing number. I wonder why. Well, because we're teaching it in the schools.
Yep.
So, don't tell me you're not teaching it in the schools, because the younger population is embracing transgenderism like never before. Because it's being broadcast in the schools. And it's no longer being broadcast as something that could be considered a mental issue. It's now being, which it was for a long time, and now it's saying it's completely normal and it's something that you should accept. I can show you videos of people saying the same thing about pedophilia. Not that I'm correlating transgenderism with pedophilia, because I think that is a horrible, horrible thing to say. But what I'm telling you is that with a long enough timeline, you can go ahead and make anything viable simply by saying it is. But we all know that there are some serious issues in the community. We know there's issues in heterosexual community. We know there's issues in the gay and lesbian community. Why is the transgender community exclusive where we are not allowed to talk about it without getting banned from YouTube? Why is it that we get demonetized when we have a conversation? It's called hate speech. This conversation has nothing to do with hate. There's no hate in the room. The only hate I feel is the video that I'm watching, being told to shut the fuck up because I disagree with you. That's not quite the same thing, is it? I'm not the one projecting hate. I'm encouraging conversation. Like, if Jesus could put a sentence together, I would have loved to have talked to him. But really, I didn't need to hear how he got COVID tased out of his body by Jesus. That really wasn't my wasn't really the path I wanted to go down in this conversation. Let's finish it out.
Saying I have a black friend, I'm not racist. Do you know trans people in real life?
Well, I can tell you this. If you have no black friends, you're probably racist. So what's the pre-qualifier for to make sure that I'm not racist? Can somebody tell me? Can someone explain it to me? What is a clear indicator that I'm not racist? Does it mean that I've hired black employees? Does it mean that I'm okay with my son or daughter dating a black person? Does it mean that I've done the beast with two backs with a black person? Does that mean me not racist? That I have 1,000 black friends? Does that matter? Does it mean that I have heroes and icons that I follow and I read and scholars that I follow who I believe in, and poets and musicians who I idolize who are black? That some of my favorite actors are black? That I'm hung like a black man? What is it that's going to show, and what are the pre-qualifiers? Because nobody is able to give me a textbook definition of what qualifies. Because when I say I've hired thousands and promoted thousands of black people, that I grew up with my father who recruited for the Colorado Buffaloes in Crenshaw, in Watts, in Oxnard, California, in Santa Paula, in some of the toughest areas in California. And in no way, shape, or form did I ever feel subjugated to some sort of oppressive black culture that I couldn't be a part of. I was appreciated. I was loved. We would get food. My dad couldn't accept it. We got hot tamales from a family. Yes, a black family made tamales. Go figure. And brought them to the game. My dad's like, I can't take anything. Anything can be considered a bribe, and I can't do that. He's like, but my son can. And I went and had a tamale and sat on the bench, and I was with a black family, and I swear to God, it smelled like Swisher Sweets and old OE 40s. I mean, I was like at a Snoop Dogg concert, and I had a great time. Does that make me not racist? One of my best friends who I slept in the same bed with when we were growing up and he'd stay the night at my house was black. I didn't burn the sheets afterwards. I didn't wear them and disguise myself over to his house. Does that make me not racist? What is it? How about People who I've protected and saved their lives, and they saved my life in the military. People who I depend on. How about people who have carried me over the quarterdeck who are African American because I've been too drunk and was stumbling? Do those people qualify that I'm no longer a racist? What do we have to do to show that we don't give a shit what color you are? I don't care what you do in the privacy of your bedroom. I judge you as a human being, and that's what humanity is. You're calling for humanity. We have a right to call out the inhumane. We have a right to call out people who are calling others homophobic, transphobic, racist. That's what humanity is recognizing the good and the bad and making sure that the good people stand up against the bad. That is what you want. That's what I want. Well, you don't get there by alienating another group of people who you are trying to talk to. It doesn't make much sense.
What about me, where I grew up?
Kingston, stop typing and calling the show 571-329-7576. And as long as you don't talk about taser guns and COVID and chromosomes and God, we're going to get along just fine. Stop spamming and pick up the damn phone and have a conversation. Tell me why I'm full of hate. Please explain it to me. Specific, give me examples. Pick up the phone, 571-329-7576, or keep clutching your pearls, Karen. Go ahead, Liv.
So what about me growing up in a little town in Montana where there were nobody but white people lived in the town?
You're a transphobe. And you're racist.
I mean,
you're racist.
How I've never...
The first time you were here and you and I were walking together and you saw a black person for the first time, you said, "Oh my God, what happened to that person?" Don't you remember? No, that didn't happen, did it?
No, I did not meet a black person until... I think a family moved from Florida and one of the boys was in my grade. And I think I was in 6th or 7th grade. And that was the first time I'd met a black person. But guess what? I became friends with him and I even doubled to prom my freshman year with him.
You're a racist. So you have one black friend and you're still a racist.
So, I mean, she's saying if you don't have any black friends, you're a racist. Well, what about somebody who's never been exposed to it? And has never actually met them. And it's not for fault of their own. It's because they live in a place where they're not there. Just a thought.
Kingdom. Here's what it comes down. Kingdom discipleship.
Kingdom disciple.
I can't believe this is the name.
It sounds like a cult. Maybe he needs to be in Waco, Texas.
Well, it's interesting. So kingdom discipleship. I'm not going to make fun of your name, but it is a little hard to take you seriously. Do I call you King or do I call you dumb?
Where is he on? Which platform?
He's on Facebook.
I can't see his comments.
I don't know what they don't go in order. You've got to get this. This is what you've got to get.
Well, I read all of them. I just still can't.
Here, does this help if I blow this up? Can you see that?
No.
All right. Well, then I'm going to get you. I'll do this. I'm going to get you on here with me, and you're going to join the show. And then that way you can see all this. We're going to do that next time. Don't worry about it. You're distracting from the show. Be quiet. Oh. Stop it. Knock it off. Stop complaining. Kingdom discipleship.
I'm a woman. I'm supposed to complain.
That's true. Thank God. What else would we do? Kingdom discipleship. Why don't you ask it? Call me whatever you wish. Okay. Asshole. Do me a favor, call the show, 571-329-7576. I don't want to have a conversation with you through text because ultimately I don't know your tonality. I don't know your disposition. I don't hear inflection. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know whether you're mad at me, you're happy with me, or you want me to join your cult. So call me, 571-329-7576, and let's have a conversation. And you can call me a hater and a xenophobe and a homophobe and all that other stuff. But if you're going to do that, you're going to have to prove it. Believe. Okay. Folks, ban kingdom discipleship. Amy, let Kristen do it. She hasn't banned anybody yet. Let's finish the rest of this.
Because if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're listening to politicians, you're listening to random shit on social media. Just shut the fuck up and leave these humans alone. Honestly, it's not that hard. One of my favorite ways to...
So the whole argument here is ignore trans people and pretend they don't exist. Is that what she just said? Hold on. Can someone tell me, am I wrong? Let's listen to the last part of her entire testimony, as kingdom discipleship would call it.
Because if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're listening to politicians, you're listening to random shit on social media. Just shut the fuck up and leave these humans alone. Honestly, it's not that hard.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So ignore trans people and pretend like they don't exist. Well, I think we've done that. So the problem with some people like King Discipleship or whatever the hell their name is pretty simple. That person, because I don't know if I don't want to assume their gender and really offend them, you're saying first of all, you can't spell dividing. If you can't spell it, you can't go ahead and use it as an insult. Okay, can we agree with that? Dividing is not Deviding. And please, for the love of God, don't tell me you accidentally hit a keystroke wrong, because E is on the other side of the keyboard. You can't spell, which denounces that you probably have a lack of education, and that's not my fault, that's yours. But if you are a disciple, which is interesting, because that's exactly what a disciple is supposed to do, take others people's words and convey them to others. But alas, what do I know? Here's the thing that I have a problem with you, is you say that I'm dividing, Deviding, and you can't give me an example of how I'm dividing. I just specifically said that trans rights are human rights, that they deserve every bit of humanity that every single other person does. How is that dividing? When I question them or say I don't like these things, how is that division? Because I consider that to be equality. So what do you want? You either can have equality and I can be human and upfront with them and tell them the truth, or I can lie to them and consider them not equal to me. Which one would you like? Because it sounds like to me is you want the latter. So you can continue to push your narrative and your propaganda that somehow there's this giant movement to have genocide and called genocide against transgenders, which is the biggest crock of shit I ever heard. Because if you look where most transgenders, unfortunately, are killed, it's the inner city. Because that's where they go. Because their life that they have is surrounded by choices that aren't very good when it comes to drugs, when it comes to rape, when it comes to abuse. So if you want to point the finger anywhere, why don't you point it at the party that has failed every minority in this country for the last 75 years? Here's the division that comes. And it's going to be about political ideology and not humanity. If there's one party you want to blame for minorities not being successful in this country and for the individual's rights to be recognized, it's because you vote for a group that believes in collectivism and groupthink, which is the liberals. That's why individuals are always left behind in the Democratic Party, even though they say that they're for everybody. If they were for everybody, we wouldn't have the inner cities. If they were for everybody, we wouldn't have demographics. We wouldn't have homicide rates that we have in the black groups. We wouldn't have HIV and crack running in some of these inner cities at the levels that we do if everybody was considered. See, the problem with the liberals and what they believe in their policy is it is so lofty, it is impossible to achieve because you don't get equal outcome. Equality is a lie. And so's equity. Because we're not all equal and we're not all born with the same traits and we're not all born with the same skill sets or the advantages, not privilege because I'm white, but advantage. There's a very big difference because privilege means that it was bestowed upon you on purpose and advantage means it's inherent, something I have no control of. So before you try to make me feel guilty about my white privilege, you need to understand the difference between that and advantage. And if you're going to sit here and say that you have a disadvantage based upon the color of your skin or where you put your penis, let me tell you, you have privilege too, because people in Kenya would kill for the fucking life you have. People in the Congo would slay others and commit genocide in order to take your place here. So don't sit here and propagate that it was the best of times and worst of times with me and get upset because your disposition is better than about 80% of the uncivilized world. The world that doesn't have running water, that doesn't have a government, that's hunted down based upon for who they are. There are plenty of countries in this world that don't follow the same standards that we do. And for you to sit here and say that you have it worse than them, well, you're privileged too. And then you can say, well, no, I'm not. I didn't mean for that to happen. You're right. That's the difference between privilege and advantage. And you had no choice. So don't give me that bullshit. You want to talk about born this way? That is really how you're born that way. Argument's ridiculous. Sorry, Liv. I got a little heated. Moving to the next topic. This is about the Second Amendment. Oh, there's a good question. Hold on. Juanita Welker Lake.
What's the question first?
It is hyphenated, so I got to give her credit. The question is, why not just treat everyone as humans?
Isn't that what we've been saying we're doing?
Isn't that what we're doing right now? Please let me know what I've said that's dehumanizing. All I am attacking is being attacked for the color of my skin or what my opinion is. And it's just as bad as anyone attacking somebody else for their opinion or what the color of their skin is. I just said that that lady has every right to say whatever she wants, and I support it, and I have fought for her right to do that. But on the other hand, I have a right to tell her that she's completely wrong. See, that's not hate. Telling somebody that you disagree with them is not hate. It's the basis to start dialogue and build bridge and build a rapport with people. That's what it's designed to do. Instead, we've turned it into a giant personal ego trip that somehow there's a winner and a loser in a conversation. The only thing gained from a conversation is knowledge. The knowledge that you never want to talk to that person again, or knowledge that you can't wait till you talk to that person again. All right, so we need to get into this. This is about wokeism. And we keep hearing about this woke culture and all these companies going woke. And I've said specifically that I really wish Republicans would stop saying it. I understand that it's an easy way to slap a moniker on something and call something CRT or call something woke. But that doesn't necessarily encapsulate everything. Being woke, according to Republicans, is anything that really focuses on division in America, concepts that are antithetical to one's beliefs or having their own beliefs, and that the left is pushing an agenda to create some sort of progressive movement in the United States today. That summarizes what Republicans see woke as. The left sees woke as being aware, being completely in tune with what is wrong with society today, and advocating for positive change and awareness and inclusivity to make everyone at the same level of equity and equality. Both are completely fucking delusional.
Juanita wrote back.
What did Juanita say?
I'm not disagreeing with you. Just want to remind other humans that we all bleed red and pee yellow. Just be kind to everyone.
That a girl. Good for you, Juanita. Well done. I knew your hyphen would make you a smart person. If you have 3 names, put a hyphen in it and I'll respect you. If you don't, you're cruising for your old boyfriend in high school. So I completely understand that there is some form of racial inequality in America, and I believe it's individual. I don't believe it's systemic, because nobody can point to a law for any of the groups that we're talking about tonight that is specifically pointed at them that says it's different than what I have or what you have. That's why feminism is a joke. Not that women don't deserve equal rights. It's that you have equal rights. The problem is that people want special rights. Now, for everyone saying they're going to no longer shop and buy Budweiser beer, good. That's called capitalism. It's not cancel culture. This video describes it. I would really like for you guys to watch this. Give it a chance. See what you think. And I hope you like it. Yes, this has a little bit to do with Dylan Mulvaney, of course. This video will be released after the show. So if you want to share it with people, you will be able to. Enjoy. Let me know what you think.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the internet.
What's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Since I'm going to be doing these bonus videos all the time, I figured I'd tell the podcast, if you have not had a chance, stop by don'tunfriendme.com or thedumbshow.com, and you can actually watch these on Spotify on video instead of just listening to the audio. There are times where we show videos or show still pictures, and I don't know, it kind of adds to the presence of the show. So if you are listening on podcast, stop by thedumbshow.com, find out where we're at. We're on Facebook, Rumble, Instagram, Twitter, all of that, and come and see us. Today, I'm talking about something I know a lot about, marketing. Marketing is something that I've done most of my life in sales and marketing, especially in retail, and working with some pretty well-known companies, whether it be Comcast, NBC, or Apple. And not to name drop, but there's this whole controversy about woke media right now, and I think it's important to talk about it. This woke media bias, the woke marketing that's in movies and in food and clothing, and even where we exercise and buy our exercise equipment. And there's this whole mentality on one side that is, go woke, get broke, and then the other side is agree with us or we're going to cancel you. And I think one of them really leans on choosing a big principle in capitalism, which is to decide where you spend your money. That's not canceling. It's simply saying, I'm going to go to an alternative. It's not that I'm taking my money out of the market. I'm putting it into a different area of the market. Canceling is stopping somebody's ability to make an income, and it's wanting them to fail or go bankrupt or doxing them. It's a very different process. So when the left says, well, we're going to cancel, it's not the same thing as choosing where you spend your money or where you put it. Not that both aren't effective in some way or another. If your ultimate point is to get that company out of your life entirely, you can make that with a choice. If it's to have them cease and exist, well, that's completely different. That's where the cancel culture comes in. I bring this up because there's a pretty controversial topic I've covered. It is Dylan Mulvaney, and everyone's talking about it. He's obviously a man who's decided to pretend to be a woman, and people are getting really frustrated because Bud Light, was kind of like the American beer, the Clydesdales, the USA red, white, and blue type stuff, and then obviously Bud Light came out, and people have a connection to their beer in the United States. So when Dylan Mulvaney became a spokesperson for Bud Light, everyone got upset. Now, I don't think that that's really that important, and I don't really care. I think Dylan Mulvaney needs to have a career, needs to make money, and seems to be doing really well, and good for Dylan Mulvaney. If I have a problem with Dylan Mulvaney's lifestyle, it really doesn't make much sense that because Dylan Mulvaney is doing sponsorship for Bud Light, that all of a sudden Bud Light has become, this company that we have to cancel and destroy and not allow them to make mistakes. But listening to our feedback is something they should do since we are the consumer. But here's why they won't. And everyone is saying, well, all these companies are going woke, and they're doing it because they want to be accepted and they want to embrace the social norms. And the left is like, well, they're just adapting to all the hatred from Republicans. This couldn't be further from the truth. I don't think Republicans I've ever heard say that this person, because they're transitioning or they're a transgender person or they're gay or they're lesbian, I can't talk to them. I hate them. I don't hear that a lot. You get some people like that, but I don't hear that a lot. I hear most Republicans and Christians say, I just don't want it brought to my kids. I just don't want it flaunted in my face. I don't want to hear it all the time. Well, I understand that. I get it. It gets a little bit old. But when we're talking about Bud Light in particular and these companies that have gone woke, like Dick's Sporting Goods, we assign the marketing blame to the company versus looking at the overall evolution of our population and the numbers that we have. From a marketing perspective, most marketing that I have done is veteran-based, rah-rah, American, Christian conservative, and my job is to get that message out to those people. And that is very, very strong with the boomer and the Gen Xers. Millennials don't necessarily like that type of marketing. Now, something's happened. Bud Light and Budweiser Anheuser-Busch had a very female-based sales strategy. The first poster that you might remember is three girls, one looking this way, one this way, and a blonde in the middle in a Budweiser swimsuit that matched the beach blanket that they were on. I had this poster in my room. You've seen other companies do the less filling, tastes great. You've seen, and twins, and then, you got the what's up. Well, all of that marketing was at the beginning to an older generation, predominantly boomers, that made up the largest amount of of the generation inside the United States. And they were marketed to pretty much till 1980. And then we saw a shift where Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch had to kind of get cool and had to get hip. And that's where you got the What's Up? And that was for the Gen Xers. Well, there is another shift taking place. And the one thing that you can guarantee from all major companies that they will abandon you at some point if their market share can increase against other competitors. They don't care about us. They only care about the people who buy beer. Now, when you look at Gen Xers and boomers, Gen Xers right now are on pace with millennials. Millennials are actually the largest generation right now. By 2033, we'll be down to like 58 to 62 million in the Gen Xer population, 75 million in the millennial generation. So there is a shift with these companies where they're abandoning Gen Xers because baby boomers are dropping out of the bottom. In 2033, they're going to be pushing 12 or 13 million. There's going to be a very large decrease in population based upon how many kids we're having and versus how many people are leaving this earth because of old age. Bud Light, all these companies know this. They're not going woke because they believe in the transgender movement, which is only like 0.007 of their overall consumer. They're not going after that demographic. They're going after the millennials who have been indoctrinated by the schools to believe that this is the next great cause, the fight. This is their World War II. This is their fight against the Nazis, Christian conservatives. So these companies are taking advantage of the generational shift and passing the torch to the next generation, and they are using marketing that they will understand. They're getting away from the white male or the standard nuclear family or the average male, female, and 2 kids and white picket fence or the sports fan, and they're going to a more sensitive, safe haven, everybody gets a trophy generation. And the best way to do that and inspire them and this generation of millennials is to hit them on the altruistic social justice warrior talking points that you hear. And even though it makes up a microcosm of the population, it does encapsulate most of their generational thought, is that people have been subjugated to being lower class citizens, or they haven't been treated fairly, or America isn't virtuous and it's designed to make sure everyone can live the American dream. And this is what Bud Light's selling. So the next time you see Dylan Mulvaney, it's not necessarily Dylan Mulvaney's fault. I think it's horrible what they're doing to the guy and embracing a very serious problem that he has. But remember, they're not doing this because it's a cause. They're doing it is because that's where the money is. Willie Brown is quoted as saying, when he was asked, why did you rob 27 some odd banks? And the answer was, that's where the money is. Why is Bud Light and these other companies becoming woke? Well, it's simple. It's where the money is. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Tonight, we will be live.
So anyway, the whole point of the conversation, I know it's a little bit long in the tooth, so I appreciate being patient, but it comes down to, if you want to challenge these companies, don't challenge them because they use the rainbow flag. Question their motive on as to why. And if you take an example, honey, from something you and I know, which is the NHL, more and more teams are not wearing the rainbow jerseys and the pride jerseys anymore. And people aren't saying, the NHL is not saying a word.
No.
They're not arguing. They're not combating. They're not saying anything, because their only argument to this, because if they truly care about equality and they truly care about representing humanity, that's what people are asking for, then they would be wrong to take away the Christians or the people who don't agree with homosexuality's choice not to wear it. You can't force someone's beliefs, because that's what they're saying Christians are doing. That's what they're saying what Republicans are doing. So the only defense that the NHL has is to come out with a pocketbook and explain about the money that this brings in and increases a fan base of a younger generation, which are predominantly in support of the LGBTQ community. And everyone wants to get behind a cause. This is why people are doing it. It's to change the Gen Xers, change the boomers to the millennials, and make these companies seem like they are woke or they are on the side of liberals. And this is all a giant marketing ploy. This is just like the American flag sold with the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance was created in order to sell flags. This is just like anyone who, if you look at the yellow ribbon and the investment in the little lapel pins that people would buy and support the troops, it's a money-making scheme. That does not go to the troops. It goes to somebody's pocketbook. It's like half the 501c3s out there says they give back to troops. They don't give back to troops. They don't give back to anybody. They're using it as a tax write-off. And all the marketing that they put in there and their marketing dollars to get their company money is being written off based on this 501c3. This isn't, and I'm not saying everybody, but most companies do things like this, these altruistic things for profit. That's what it's designed for. People need to understand that the woke movement is not in the best interest for the long term of the United States because it's curtailing to one generation, just like the old commercials were always curtailing to the men. When the woman would come up and say, hey, I've got a brand new lawnmower, a brand new blender, and the wife would try to sell it on the TV to the man. This isolates and alienates an entire group of people, and people aren't aware of it. So anyway, that's it.
I'm waiting for Dylan Mulvaney to come out as the next spokesperson for Tampax.
Wait, what?
I'm waiting for Dylan Mulvaney to come out as the next spokesperson for Tampax.
I think he's got a Kotex sponsorship.
Are you serious?
Well, he's made $100,000 this week alone in contracts from Nike, Bud Light, and a few other. I mean, the guy's crushing it. I mean, you got to give him credit, man. He's got something that's a shtick and it's working. But I do. It's some sort of feminine product or makeup or something. I know he did like CoverGirl. I've got all his sponsorships.
But I mean, this is where it's going, is to have a trans woman be a spokesperson for a genetically female issue, for something that they're never going to have to use.
Listen, I think it's horribly disappointing that companies will use somebody when half of the people, more than half, when 80% of the people look at it as a joke.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, is that even the most ardent Democrats will tell you that it's a joke. And if here's an example. If I was going to go ahead and apply for a black scholarship, or if I was to go ahead and put down for my sheriff's application, if I was going to, that I was an African-American, would everyone be okay with that?
No.
Why?
Because you're not.
I'm not what?
You are not African-American.
How dare you? How dare you say such things? You're a racist. But see, that's the foolishness. Like, is it okay for me to go ahead and identify as a billionaire?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Right. I'm a billionaire and go rob a bank and say you're holding. I mean, folks, this is just, there's no end to the stupidity. We all know the truth. Everyone, even the left that are pushing this, they know the truth. A man's a man's, a woman, a woman. They know this. They know this. They know this. They know this. But they continue to say it. And that's the problem people have. It would be like putting on, somebody standing up and saying, I'm Stevie Wonder and I can see. No, Stevie Wonder's blind. And just because you want to see doesn't mean you can. Or just because you go ahead and you say, hey, I'm a handicap, I can park in this handicap. No, you're not. We have rules. And these rules are not just societal rules, but we have rules of science. And for the party that screams about global warming and that the earth is doomed for the last 75 years and we're somehow supposed to believe this, it makes it very hard for us to take you seriously when you can't even understand the most basic concept that a man is a woman is a woman. Why is that so hard? And why can't transgender people say, I just want to dress up like a woman? And I'm like, dude, I've seen my wife's panties and I've kind of wanted to try them on and see how they feel once in a while to see if they're more comfortable than my boxer briefs. That's not really.
Yeah, I don't think they'd fit you.
No, I put them on, so I was lying. It's not that I wanted to try.
On your head?
No, sweetie, no, not on my head. That's when we were dating. That was during the courtship. But the whole point is why can't we just say this person wants to dress like a woman and wants to be called a woman's name? Why is that a big deal? It's not. We've been doing it for a long time. Why do we now, after all the progress that we've made in feminism and women's rights, take us back down and say the following. And here it is. This is harsh, but this is the truth. So for the people trolling and who are all upset what I'm saying, here it is. The only thing that this new movement is saying is that men are once again superior to women. Ooh. And they are also better at being a woman than a woman.
It's reverse feminism.
And that's the truth.
It is.
You're saying men are better at everything, including being a woman. Do you understand how antithetical this is to women? How disrespectful it is to my little girl? How disrespectful it is to my wife, to my mother? I don't give a shit about my mom.
Exactly.
But to my grandmother, these women have went through things, and you're trivializing the pain, the perspiration, the work, the sexism, the bullshit that they've had to endure. And you're saying that because you break them down to only a dress and lipstick. You say a woman's worth is only the makeup she wears and the dress she wears is all that makes her a woman. And you're going and saying Dylan Mulvaney is a woman because he simply put on makeup and a dress. And to me, that is the most sexist fucking shit I've ever heard in my life. And as a man who is toxic masculine, y'all a bunch of fucking sexists. I am the most toxic masculine male that I've ever known in my life. You go to the encyclopedia and look up toxic masculinity, and I'm right there. Because I believe that I should treat my wife exactly like I treat a buddy, because that's what she wants. She wants to be equal. Well, great, then let's do equality. Then I'm going to joke around with you and you're going to joke around with me, and we're going to cross-pollinate our sexes and somehow find an amicable relationship where we're both loved and we care for each other. And she's going to try to make me more effeminate, and I'm going to try to make her a little more masculine, and then we're going to meet in the middle and have an awesome relationship that we have now. But for you to say that what she's been through, the marks on her body, the stretch marks on her body from bearing children and carrying 18 months worth of kids and pushing for 3.5 days yes. and bleeding for a week out of each month and not dying, a lot of respect. Anything that bleeds for 7 days and doesn't die, who has to go through boob growth and swelling and hormones and watching their beauty, which is what identifies them from a shallow society, whittle away with every passing day and year, while this guy looks better with age. Thank you. And for the things that they have to go through to say that their entire makeup and being is surmised with makeup and a dress is probably the most sexist thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, we went from the 50s, the 40s and the 50s, where women had to be all done up, the lipstick, the makeup, the hair, just right, everything like that when they went out in public. When their husbands got home, they had to have the makeup on and the lipstick and, and blah, blah, blah. Going from that to going to that again.
I think we have undone hundreds of years of progress for women to be considered equal to men in so many areas, and understanding the ones that they're not, and having it not be a crutch, right? Strength, height, weight, overall, I don't know, just stick-to-itiveness and going after the things that we truly want in an aggressive alpha way. Although I know some very alpha females. But we just destroyed it in one night. It was like women, like you got Hillary Clinton wearing pink vagina hats, Madonna threatening to burn down the White House, women empowerment all over the world. Hillary, she's going to, the balloons, and she's going to break down the glass ceiling. And, all this stuff's happening. Women CEOs. I mean, it's just like, it's the women's movement, man. And then they're like, just kidding. You're not really important because you're not a woman. It's kind of ridiculous. Can you imagine if that was a race? Could you imagine if we did that to black people? And we go, oh, wait, time out. Asian Americans, come here. Come here. Folks, Asian Americans, they had a couple 100,000 slaves. So now they need to be treated just like African Americans when it comes to slavery. They had it just as bad. So now we're going to go ahead and give them reparations. Can you fucking imagine what would happen? We need to like put this in comparative contrast and put it into examples people would understand. It's insanity. And it disgusts me. And I don't think liberals really hear what I'm saying. You can be against women being demarginalized or marginalized and women being castigated into a category of not being women anymore, and that their entire identities are scrapped. And you can be upset at that and still not hate transgender people. I don't blame the transgender people at all, in the slightest. I blame this bullshit woke narrative that says that because you want to, you can. And I'm here to tell you, just because you have an iron will and just because you're the most motivated person in the world, it doesn't guarantee you success or a guaranteed outcome. All right. I want to show you something else. This was a video. Olivia, you'll get a kick out of this one. This was a video that I found in regards to a conference. I want you to look at all the people. Somebody said they had the best line, that this looks like, if you could animate this, it would be a South Park episode. And here it is.
Firstly, it enables the Attorney General to create a 2S LGBT.
Oh, blah, 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 blah. Sorry about that, y'all. Wrong window. I put it in the wrong hole. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. This one's going to make you cringe. I want you to look. Can you see it?
Yeah, I got to watch it on your computer because I got a delay.
And it looks like a South Park episode. I mean, it really does.
Respect my authority.
That's right. And you've got one guy over here. You see the one? Can you see my mouse on my screen?
Yes.
See the guy? Look at this guy. This guy's like, son of a bitch. In fact, look how far apart he is. He almost is like, I don't want to be in this shot. I've got no desire to be in this shot. You've got this lady wearing a mask, this lady wearing a mask, and then nobody else is wearing a mask. You've got a very prominent chinned male. You've got Lady Gaga's sister. You've got Xi Jinping decided to join.
Oh my God.
And then you've got, I don't know what's going on, a child. A child. A very, very young child. I would say probably Hayden's age, 12 or 13.
She looks maybe 12.
Now, and then you have got, okay, I want to protect the LGBTQ community. Like if I have anybody who's a member of the LGBTQ community, I will treat them just like I treat the rest of my community. And when we hear gunshots, we're out there, we're protective. If someone has a fire, I'll break into the house and pull them out and save their lives. I don't care. I stand with you. I'm for your rights. I love you, but you're too fucking confusing. And the LGBTQ community needs to figure out an easier way to fucking pick a group of letters and numbers to represent you, because 2SLGBTQI plus is too fucking confusing. What's the plus stand for? Doesn't it include everybody?
2S?
Who knows? But it's turned into chaos theory and hyper algorithms.
It's ridiculous.
I have to have a master's degree in mathematics to understand this equation. What in the hell? When did we put 2SL at the end of this thing? I thought the plus was supposed to take care of everybody else. Here, are you looking it up?
No, I wasn't.
Well, you should.
What am I? Oh, what?
So type in that code. This is the Enigma codebreaker for the Japanese communique from World War II. The Enigma code breaking machines. Yeah, this is the sequence. 2SLGBTQI plus. What does it stand for? I want to protect you, but I don't know who the fuck you are, because I don't know what all this means, and it changes every day.
Okay, Two-Spirit. What the hell is Two-Spirit? I've never even figured out that.
Two-Spirit.
What? What?
And why is it in front of LGBTQ people? I mean, don't you think the lesbian, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders, you know, it used to just be the LGB community. There was no T. They put transgenders in, and LGB is like, you guys aren't gay. You're not lesbian. You're kind of like, I don't know what the hell you are, but fine. We'll stick you at the end of us. That's fine. You can go to the end of the train. Go to the back of the bus.
All right.
No, I'm not done. I'm done. I'm talking.
I wasn't done first.
I don't care. So then you have the Q. And you're like, oh, well, queer. Well, isn't that lesbian and gay? What's queer? What's the difference? And then what is I? What's I? Honey, help me out. What's I?
Okay. Okay.
Indigo?
Roy G. Biff?
Roy G. Biff. I'm gonna let you finish, but first, Taylor, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna go for it. No, go ahead. What does it stand for?
Do I get a Pepsi tonight?
Two-spirit. You get a Pepsi. Two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer.
Or questioning an additional sexual orientations and gender identities.
And then intersex, and then P is what? Like pedophiles?
No, that's the whole thing. That's what the I and the plus stand for.
So is two-spirit essentially like multiple personalities?
I don't know. Additionally, sexually and gender
it can't be indigenous
people.
Because indigenous is a race.
Okay, well, I'm gonna look this up. What?
It's not a race. It's a time period.
Spirit.
Native American two-spirit. Hold on. Native American two-spirit means woman and man. We can't talk over each other, honey.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Two-spirit is a term used within some indigenous communities encompassing cultural, spiritual, sexual, and gender identity.
Why in the fuck does that go ahead of LGBTQ? Why can't you put it in alphabetical order? I don't understand what the hell's going on here. This is the most. Now listen to this. Now Xi Jinping from China comes in, and you know what? You can call me racist if you want. That's not. It's called humor. Okay. This show has some humor in it. It gets serious. If you can't laugh, okay, then you need to lighten the fuck up. Okay. So here she is, or I'm sorry, they are. Zher is going to talk, and she gets confused. Here it is.
Firstly, it enables the Attorney General to create a
Now, that's the first word that I don't like, enables. I'm sick of enabling people. This is stupid. This right here is dumb. You know what? Break it up into groups. Not all of these groups are the same, okay? Just because you have extremely low numbers doesn't mean you all join forces so you can have a minority that actually will be taken seriously. That's not the way this works. Because if you keep doing this, we're going to recruit the Latinos. Okay? And we're going to make an effort. White people are going to be like, come on over here. You're part of our group. And we're going to have the racial freaking draft like in Dave Chappelle's show.
Yes.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, Tiger Woods is now Asian.
Someone said, ask Hayden, see if she knows what it is. Because if she knows what it is, that means they're teaching it in school.
Hayden!
I'll text her.
I got it. My text is better than you. I got a whistle. All right, let's watch the rest of this.
as LGBTQI plus community safety zone.
She could hardly say it. Get on mic. Okay. Come on, Mike, please. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be, honey. I don't mean to be so directive.
No,
I apologize.
It's fine. I'm watching Moana.
Oh, she's watching Moana.
That's so ethnically diverse. Good for you, Hayden.
Yeah, what?
Okay, Hayden. Hayden. Look at the screen.
Okay, I'm looking at the screen.
And we're gonna do an eye test.
Okay.
This is 2SLGBTQI plus. Can you please, for $10 into your bank account, tell me what the 2S stands for?
Oh, I don't know. I know what everything else stands for.
Please, can you go ahead and tell me LGBTQI plus?
Lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, and I don't know what the I is.
What about the plus?
Like any other sexuality that doesn't start with those letters.
Okay. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. You didn't get $10, but I will tell you that I'll give you $5.
Okay. What does the 2S stand for?
Two spirit.
You ever heard of that?
Oh. Okay.
Two spirits.
I don't know what that is.
Do you think it's getting a little long in the tooth?
I don't know. I don't know what it stands for at this point. I know what usually it's LGBTQIA plus, and I know what the A stands for.
What's the A stand for?
Asexual.
Asexual?
Yeah.
Like lizards?
When did humans become asexual?
Like asexual lizards? Like
No,
like
it stands for like anti-sexual means like you're not attracted to sex, basically.
Isn't that what a pansexual is?
No, a pansexual likes any gender. Any gender, like any.
Like horses?
No, any human gender at this point.
It's got to be human?
Yeah.
Well, what about people who like horses? Is that in the plus?
Yeah.
What about bestiality? Is that covered? What about pedophilia? Where does pedophilia fall in?
Pedophilia is actually not qualified in this. I don't know how I know all this stuff.
Oh, I do because they're teaching you in fucking school. That Sorry, sweetie.
They're actually not. I just know it because kids talk about it. But
well, they're learning it from somewhere. You're telling me that they're not teaching this in school. That's bold. Then why are you telling me that people are going around in school talking about this? About that you have a group of a clique of people who say they're lesbian or people who say they're bisexual?
Because that's a clique. Like I can't really control like the different cliques in school, but they don't talk about it in FLE. They don't talk about it in normal school.
So in no way, shape, or form. So what about the bathrooms?
The bathroom, they're just transgender bathrooms.
So they're talking about it.
There aren't trans neutral or
Have you ever seen any questions in school or anything you've had to fill out that has anything to do with any of these things that we're talking about? Asking. Okay, good.
If there's like a form for the guidance counselor or whatever, he'll say like your gender, because then that will bring you to a different like part of the form. But usually there will be an option of other, and then you can just specify it. But that nobody really clicks that. They just pick boy or girl.
Okay.
And then sometimes they'll just put biological gender, and then it'll only be male or female.
So, okay. So you're not learning this in school in any way, shape, or form?
Not even in FLE.
Okay. Good to know. Thanks, honey. I appreciate you. Thanks for telling us.
You're welcome.
All right. Work on your acronyms. Get a little more effective.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know what the I stands for. Let me look that up.
It's intersex.
We looked it
Honey,
up already.
You did?
Honey, we already got it. It's intersex. We know more than you. So
We just wanted to see if you knew.
Hayden, get out of the chair.
Okay.
If you want to come on the show, we will have a Hayden night, and everybody wants to see you.
I want to come on the show, but then you always are here.
We can take. Oh, okay. You mean your mother?
Yeah.
Get out of the chair.
Okay.
If you want to come on the show, it's not like I can't get another camera and another mic in 2 seconds. I would love to have you on the show because you're brighter than half my audience. Now get up and get out.
Okay.
Jeez.
I want to go watch Moana now.
Yeah, why don't you go call your boyfriend? I like him, by the way. He's a nice kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I kicked his ass in chess, though. My daughter, folks. She's amazing. All right, let's listen to the rest of this. Here we go.
Plus,
no, I'm not going to be accused of nothing. My daughter, dude, my daughter is so far advanced over these counselors, and no, she's amazing. She's amazing. All right, here's the rest.
community safety zone to prohibit within 100 meters of the property any homophobic, transphobic act of intimidation, threat, offensive remarks, protest, disturbance, and distribution of hate propaganda within the meaning of the criminal code. It also comes with it a penalty of $25,000 if prosecuted successfully.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that within 100 feet of an LGBTQI plus TSL WKRP Cincinnati.
ABC 123.
123. Yeah, you know me. OPP.
Yeah, you know me.
Back streets back. All right. So within 100 feet, if you have any hate propaganda, if you make any threats, if you act on any threats, if you do anything in regards to that, you'll be held accountable by the court of law and suffer a fine of $25,000. That's what I heard. Does everyone agree?
Yes.
How is that different than any other day? That's the law. You can't threaten anybody. You can't spread hate propaganda right now that is inciting violence. Like, say I'm going to go down to, I'm going to go into Pennsylvania, and I'm going to go to some of the Amish areas in Pennsylvania. And I'm going to go ahead and say, people who ride carriages and buggies, we need to find them and burn all their stuff down tomorrow. I don't care what it is. If I do that, I'm going to be held culpable. Why do we need a special? Why is there a 13-year-old little girl on stage?
I'm going to assume because she identifies with something other than a little girl. I mean, why else would she be there?
Why do we need... It's not...
She looks slightly uncomfortable, though.
Why do we need special rights? This is already against the law. Hey, if you're an asshole, you're going to jail. We already have those laws. Hate crimes are already on the books. But I guess going into a Christian school and killing Christian, predominantly white Republicans, well, that's not a hate crime. That's okay. You can do that. Where's the manifesto of the shooter? That's what I want to see. I want to see the manifesto. I see every other manifesto. Oh, fuck, I had Ted Kaczynski's manifesto. I've had every active shooter's manifesto released within 72 hours. Why can't we see it? The person's dead. What trial are we worried about? Where is it? I want to hear why that school specifically was targeted. We have a right to know. And you know what? Can you imagine if only one mass shooting was done at a black church, it pisses me off. I can't stand racists. I fucking hate them. Yes, I hate them. But if it was only one racially motivated mass shooting in America, and can you imagine if they stood up there and a white person, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant with a cross in the circle, the Aryan cross, went ahead and went in there and killed black people, and then Joe Biden celebrated Aryan Awareness Day. Can you imagine what would have happened? Now, that's an extreme. And no, I'm not comparing transgender people to Aryan Nation. Of course not. That's stupid. It's an analogy that there is nothing as comparable and dumb as this. That's why it's so difficult to make an analogy that makes sense, because it's so stupid. The shooter does not represent transgender people, just as much as any white shooter doesn't represent me. That the people on January 6th don't represent me. That the Black Lives Matter or the Antifa that burned shit down for 100, almost 200 some odd riots does not represent black people and all college people. Why can't we separate the crime from the person? Or excuse me, the demographic that they represent? Why? Where's the manifesto? And look at this poor lady in red. Lady in red wants to get the fuck out of there.
She looks slightly comfortable as well.
It's uncomfortable.
QI plus, community safety zone to prohibit within 100 meters of the property any homophobic, transphobic act of intimidation, threat, offensive threats, offensive remarks, protest, disturbance, and distribution of hate propaganda within the meaning of the criminal code. It also comes with it a penalty of $25,000 if prosecuted successfully.
Our enemies are laughing at us. They're fucking laughing at us. This is the most ridiculous, idiotic, stupid thing that I've seen today. Because every day it's outdone. Now, I promised Olivia that we would be done early tonight, and we're going to be. We're going to make that happen, but I do have one more to show you that is absolutely critical. Is you have got to see this in regards to the Afghanistan Taliban. A report was done in regards to the weapons that we surrendered to the Taliban that were supposedly going to be for the Afghanis. Supposedly. But we all know what happened. We wound up giving billions of dollars to the Taliban and making them the 7th largest standing army in the world as far as being well armed. The 7th largest. there's an issue here. And there was an investigation done. Now, the entire premise of this was that this is not done for accountability. This is done for awareness. Well, isn't that how you gain and garner awareness, is to hold people accountable? All they did was turn around and blame Trump. Even though every single general on the Joint Chiefs told Joe Biden not to surrender Bagram Air Base, that they talked about the resistance, that the actual Afghani army and the regulars were fleeing in Tajikistan and surrendering positions on the north and south Afghan borders long for a year, that the supposed battle-tested fighters were fleeing at the first sign of Taliban. There were signs all over the place that this was going to be a complete shit show and the Afghan army was going to fail and the Taliban were going to take that country over. 21 years of fighting, American soldiers dying, 13 servicemen and women dead because we allowed the Taliban to run fucking security at Kabul airport instead of using Bagram, a secure airspace with one point of entry with air support. You couldn't traverse. You couldn't bring tanks in there. RPGs wouldn't have range from the positions that they would have on the crest of those mountains. Bagram was secure and tighter than a duck's ass watertight. And he surrendered a multi-million-dollar base. And they're saying, well, we didn't leave millions of dollars in weapons. You're right. It was billions, jackass. $7 billion in Humvees, in choppers, in guns, and more importantly, biometric devices, which allowed them to gain access to American people and NGOs inside Afghanistan. Biometric data which they could scan in retinal scanners to scan every civilian and find the NGOs and any Americans left over. It took months to get all the Americans out of there. This was not a success. It was a complete kerfuckle from start to finish, and I've already put him on blast, and I've got a video that you can go see it. Go look it up. I did 3 videos destroying Joe Biden's exfil from Afghanistan. Tore him apart over this. This is Donald Trump made some mistakes. Donald Trump negotiated with the Taliban without talking to the Afghanis. That was a mistake. He invited them here. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. Literally, when you have cop killers show up in the Oval Office, please. When you have convicted bombers of Capitol buildings show up in the Weather Underground and people who represent murdering police, you don't get to sit here and clutch your pearls. Donald Trump made some mistakes, but ultimately saved American lives, and that's the only thing that matters. But this isn't his responsibility. Joe Biden's the one that pulled them out like he did. He is the one who signed off on the exfil strategy and thought that he was the smartest fucking guy in a room full of warriors, no matter how freaking Fruit Loops they are, including Miley, who is the most woke SOB in the world. They still know more than Joe Biden, who hasn't served a day in his life and thinks his son died in Iraq. That's how much this fucking guy knows. And he ignored all the intel, and he ignored me too, who said this was going to be a complete snafu. Olivia was there. She knows. She saw the show. Yep. I called it 3 months before when I did a breakdown of Afghanistan and Iran, their systems, integrated air defense systems, the overall terrain, their military, what they had, and what a long-term exfil would mean to Afghanistan, and that it would fall within 1 year to the Taliban or another independent group, maybe even ISIS, as they were looking for a new caliphate. I did that show. And if I know that as a civilian today, I guarantee you they were telling Joe Biden the same thing. And this is what we get. Here it is.
Who's going to get fired over this?
Peter, the purpose of the document that we're putting out today is to sort of collate the chief reviews and findings of the agencies that did after action reviews. It's not, the purpose of it is not accountability. It's the purpose of it is
military leaders.
Purpose of it is to study lesson learned.
There's the first one. Here's the second one. And then Olivia, I appreciate you holding on because you know I'm passionate about this subject.
Mm-hmm.
And I still want your opinion because you're hot.
Once you turn it over, it's just like what we're doing in Ukraine. We give Ukraine...
There it is. You just heard the administration specifically say that they have every intent to leave all weapon systems and arm Ukraine to the teeth, even after the threat is neutralized or retreats or a treaty is signed, to arm Ukraine and make them one of the strongest countries militarily in Europe. You just heard it. Mock me.
Mock me.
Mark my words. Hither to thee, stamp it in the blood of a virgin elf, that I predict that Ukraine will interfere or run counterinsurgency in another European rival country or Russia in the next 15 years. Mark me. That we will turn them into the next Iran, the next Iraq, the next Libya, the next Saudi Arabia, the next Egypt, the next Congo, the next Somalia, the next. Because this is what the United States does, and this specifically is what Democrats do, is nation fucking building, and they supply these zealots with weapons, and then they turn on the fucking hand that feeds them because they get drunk with power. Ukraine was in a corrupt state long before the United States got there, and it will be corrupt long after we leave. And so will Russia. They both suck. Vladimir Putin sucks dick and Zelensky sucks dick. And anyone who has a Ukrainian flag, you're fucking stupid. And anyone who has a Russian flag, you're fucking stupid. We're Americans. We believe in America. You just heard him say he's going to pull out of Ukraine and make it one of the most predominant powers in Europe. Does anyone feel comfortable about that? Because I sure don't.
No.
I sure don't. Because what happens when the corruptible portions and the oligarchs in Ukraine, who are the money launderers and the sex traffickers, when we pull out, take Zelensky and put him on a yardarm, and they take over that country, and then we now have to go back in, and we do have to put boots on the ground. What happens then? Don't tell me, oh, come on, man, that's not going to happen. Zelensky, he's a hero. He was on the cover of GQ. I'm only talking from experience, folks. Have you read a fucking history book in your life? Who do you think wanted the Germans to sit at the table? Who do you think instigated the Japanese by not giving them a voice on the world stage? Do you think America is so star-spangled awesome that we haven't made mistakes geopolitically across the globe? I've got one word for you. I fucking rack. 2. The United States makes mistakes, especially with its foreign policy, and nation building doesn't work. Democracy has been installed all over the United States, all over the world, through the United States, 26 times. Getting fired up. 26 times. And it has failed every time, including Russia. It failed in Greece. It failed in Turkey. It failed in Russia. You can go on and on how democracy has failed around the world. And the reason why is because you can't put lipstick on a pig. And if the government is corrupt and you don't clean it up and the people don't want reform, it will go back to corruption. That is why it is healthy every once in a while for the people to revolt. This worked in France. It worked in the United States. It worked in Hong Kong. It worked for the Tibetans. Hell, it worked for the Egyptian slaves who were literally had their tongues cut out so they couldn't talk, were completely for generations not allowed to write in hieroglyphics. The slaves would write into the catacombs. so they could retain the language of the slaves. They weren't allowed to do math or teach or science until they rose up. I'm not saying the United States needs to do that. I'm not saying we have to do that. What I'm saying is that until the people want change, it doesn't take. When the people are finally fed up, they will transform the country from within. That is when it works. Iran will fall. The clerics and the Shah and the Ayatollah will fall. There's not enough of them. When the Iranians step up and do something about it, Turkey will be free, and they've already tried, and that coup failed because the people were not fully behind it. The slaves in the United States were 4 million strong. They could have flattened the fucking South, and every racist, bigoted asshole who kept them in slavery, they could have rose up with pitchforks and torches and taken the South. There was one slave owner for every 100 slaves. It would have been an annihilation. But unfettered power and the boots on the necks of the people stopped them from taking what's rightfully theirs, freedom. That's what oppression looks like. Don't tell me that giving Ukraine unfettered access to military technology is the only choice because nobody's trying to broker a peace treaty. We're letting ambiguity run this fucking war by Nord Stream 2 pipelines and one blowing up, with the United States not standing up and saying without any equivocation, here's the evidence of who actually did it, and leaving speculation in the air, playing grab ass with weapon systems, having American contractors in fucking country, which they're not talking about. Don't tell me that this isn't a mistake. And all these people are like, oh, you're just a Russian sympathizer. You get the shit out of your ears. You're not hearing me. I despise Russia. My theater was to work against Russians from an intelligence and counterintelligence standpoint. Don't tell me about Russia. I'm not defending Russia. What I'm telling you is that it's not mutually exclusive. You don't have to love Zelensky and idolize him in order to not like Russia. You can like them both equally. Putin in Ukraine is a horrible thing. It's a stupid thing. It's a dangerous thing. It's too close to Poland. And ultimately, NATO's going to get involved. We got to stop him. But we don't have to write a blank check for $150 and take all the money from the Afghan war in the first 3 years and give it to this fucking guy in the first 3 months. You don't have to do that. You don't have to create another tyrannical government in order to go ahead and stop Russia. And you certainly don't need to tell me that you're wasting millions and millions of dollars on open investigations, which are showing culpability of the people who fucking failed the exfil of Afghanistan, and you're not going to hold them accountable. But you find a 7-year-old bunch of charges on a guy who paid off getting laid, and you're going to fucking put 34 felonies on him. And it's the same information it was 7 years ago. And it wasn't any good then, and it's no fucking good now. But you're going to find out who screwed up and got Americans and NGOs murdered, tortured, buried to their head in sand, and dehydrated into nothing. Took back women's rights in Afghanistan as much as you have taken back the identity of what a woman is in the United States overnight, and put a completely destructive and horrible Taliban in charge of a country full of good people. And you're going to go ahead and hold Donald Trump accountable to nothing, but you're going to let Joe Biden and the fucking generals who are responsible off the hook, because honestly, this is just a fact-finding mission. And we don't care what facts we find. Now, if it would have come back and said that Donald Trump was culpable somehow and it really was his fault, well, then we're going to go ahead and charge him too. And we're going to go ahead and get him for that for war crimes. Because you know damn well if that report laid that out and said that he brokered some sort of deal with Taliban that put America's national security at risk or whatever it would be, he would be fucking arrested for treason if that's what they found. But they're not going to hold any of these bastards accountable in Washington, D.C., and it makes me sick.
Leroy had a good point.
Go ahead, Leroy.
It wasn't that long ago. Most Americans recognized that countries whose politicians arrest their opponents were known as authoritarian. But with Trump's indictment, people just fucking go along with it.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Listen, I'm not anti-government. I'm not. I believe government is essential. It's not necessarily required for every single thing we do. But this picture, before we watch, this is accurate. Leaders who have their political opponents arrested. There you go. Just a little picture to put it in perspective. Let's watch the rest of this bullshit.
Ammunition, Stinger anti-air missiles, Javelin anti-tank. It's their stuff at that point, not the Americans. It's their stuff. That stuff belonged to the Afghans. And so this idea, this argument is just ludicrous that we left millions of dollars of stuff in Afghanistan.
Billions.
We didn't. We turned it over, as the previous administration would have done too, because part of their thinking was they were going to have to turn this material over. It was turned over appropriately and carefully and deliberately with the Afghan national security.
All right, listen to me right now and listen to what I'm trying to tell you. And even if you don't like me and you don't like my show and you're just watching the troll and you're just like, fuck this guy, I'm sick of him. He cusses all the time. He's so angry. He's so angry. So angry. I'm going to show you right now how they're lying. Are you ready? Everyone listen to me. Just stop all the stuff you've heard tonight and just listen to this one point. I'm going to show you how he is lying through his fucking teeth. Are you ready? He just said they left millions of dollars, right?
Yes.
That's a lie, number one. It was billions. $7 billion. Would you like to see the pictures?
7.26 billion to be exact.
7. Go get Olivia. M4s. Grenade launchers, mortars, anti-aircraft weapon systems, howitzers, ammunition up the ass, biometric data, Blackhawks, Humvees, tow missiles. Okay, that was all the Afghanis, right? 21 years of what he said, 21 years of running a war in Afghanistan, all that was supposed to go to the Afghanis. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. Then please tell me why I can show you 7 videos right now from the Department of State to the Secretary of Defense to Jen Psaki to President Biden to General Miley, and nobody else has brought this up but me. So you're going to hear it here first. You ready? Because you all remember it. You're like, holy fuck, Matt, you're right. Why did they say in front of the entire national audience that they blew up and made all of those things inoperable if it was for the Afghan army? Because that's what they said. We blew up the Humvees. We pulled the control panels from the frickin' Blackhawks. We destroyed the biometric data. Once you don't have the database, we destroyed the database so it won't uplink to the satellite or any of the comms. We made the weapon systems completely inoperable. Well, then why the fuck did you do that if it was for the Afghan army? You lying pricks. Listen. Don't forget. Study. Analyze. Stop the distractions. Only listen to what's important. If you sit there and tell the country one thing, that you destroyed weaponry to make sure it was inoperable, and then turn around 365 fucking days later and lie to the American people and say that it was all benign. These are benign systems. They were for the Afghans. Everyone would have done the same thing. Donald Trump destroyed those weapon systems in Syria, and he did make them inoperable. How many weapon systems out of Syria have been used in terrorist attacks over the last 5 years? Name one. Name one terrorist attack that's come out of Syria, specifically linked by the Department of Homeland Security, by Interpol, by MI6, Please name one. The CIA, name one terrorist attack that's come out of Syria. You want to know how many have come out of Iran? Do you want to know how many have come out of Afghanistan? Don't sit here and piss on me and tell me it's raining. The United States has a responsibility to its people. We are the taxpayer. Those are our weapons, not the fucking Afghanis, not the Ukrainians. They're ours. We paid for them. The American government doesn't make anything. That's our money. And they need to show us the receipts. They just lied. They lied to you and they lied to me. And if they lied about that, what else are they lying about? But we're just a conspiracy podcast, right? I'm just an anti-American. I'm an anti-government. I am the most loyal patriot you've ever known in your life. I love my country. I will fucking die for my country. As much as I love my family. I don't hate our government. I hate the corruption within it, which is destroying it. It's depravity. The Constitution isn't worth anything anymore because the people who are there that it's supposed to hold accountable don't follow what it's supposed to do because nobody holds them accountable. He just said we are on a fact-finding mission and we don't fucking care what it says. And it really comes down is because nobody cares anymore. Nobody will do anything about it anymore. Hell, folks, I'm going to strike a nerve. I'm going to get a knock on my door someday soon. And they're going to come to me and say, you need to stop. I would not be surprised if one day I get a knock from the Department of Homeland Security that makes my comments right here, right now, as treasonous or seditious. Why? Because it's true? Why? Because it's not a lie? Because there's a difference between me and the people out there who are having people like Ashley Babbitt go throw themselves in the line of fire for no fucking reason. There's a difference between me and the people who are on BLM and the black people who are burning shit down because they can't get their voices heard. The difference between me and them is that I'm giving you facts. This is their words. These aren't mine. I'm not the one that went up and lied. I'm not the one that went up and said that. That's their fault. We have to take responsibility and we have to stop fighting each other. This isn't a Democrat and Republican problem. This is an American problem. We can worry about our bullshit later. Right now, we have politicians who want us divided and want us fighting so they can continue to do this stuff. Where they can frivolously spend with no accountability. They can run their never-ending wars and they can make it rich. That they can go ahead and make it rich. Nancy Pelosi is worth $330 million fucking dollars on a salary of $246,000 a year. How? The Pentagon released, that there was almost $460 billion missing in a 10-year period of time from the defense budget. Where did it go? Where is it? How do you misplace $460 billion? Where did it go? When are we going to balance the budget? When are we going to hold these leaders accountable? Maybe tomorrow's show. Maybe tomorrow's show we'll get to it. But tonight, alas, I have to get my beautiful wife to watch a Colorado Avalanche game, and we are going to go. Olivia, thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being on. Thank you for letting me vent and get all this out of my system.
Yeah, I just let you go. I wasn't going to say anything.
Well, I just, sometimes you've got to just let it out. Any comments we want to get to before we pull out? I mean, leave. Did you have anything or no?
That's why we only have 2 kids.
That's correct.
No. People are just as pissed as you. It seems like.
Yeah, I'm not fake news because I'm just using their words against them. I've always done that. I don't need to make anything up. Just look it up yourself. And folks, listen to me. One more begging. I've got 163 people on, and then we're going to pop smoke. I've been fighting a fight about the stolen election for 2 years. And I've been trying to get you to open your eyes. And I've been trying to get you to listen to me. And I've had people leave me. I've had friendships that are gone. I've had people say they hate me and they never want to talk to me again and curse my name. And I'm not looking for sympathy or empathy. I don't need that. And I appreciate your passion on what you believe. But if you listen to me on everything else, please listen to me on this stolen election thing. Please move on from it. Because you're barking up the wrong tree. And I can lay it out for you again. Just like I laid out Afghanistan, just like I told you about Kabul. Go watch the video. I told you all of this. I already did this a year ago. I broke this down, what Joe Biden did right, what he did wrong. It's exactly what that report says. The IRS can show up. My accountant is rock solid. Just listen, even if you don't agree. Because there's people here who will tell you that they were 100% stolen election zealots who have changed their mind and now call it the unconstitutional election. Because that's what took place. And we can walk through it together one time, and I'll walk you through it, and we'll talk about it, and we will have that conversation. But I am going to preach this forever because it's a giant distraction. And it's not going to get Trump reelected. We need Donald Trump or a Republican in office because here's your ticket. You know, hear me again. Mark me. Here it is.
Mark me.
I'm going to start putting live on this thing so people know we're live. That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. Okay, here it is. John F. Kennedy Jr. Kennedy Jr. is entering the race.
No, Robert.
Robert. Sorry, did I say John?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm like, John F. Kennedy Jr. is dead.
Yeah, well, he's back. He's back, folks.
This is zombie John F. Kennedy is running.
Zombie Kennedy. Sorry, gosh. John and Robert, come on, you know how much I study both of them. Robert Kennedy Jr. is running. That's going to take anywhere from 3 to 7% of Joe Biden's votes if he splits off and runs as an independent. The Kennedy name is extremely strong with the boomers. It's extremely strong with blue-collar Democrats, and it very well could split the vote. I don't think he'll win primary. I don't think that's possible in any way, shape, or form. But if you can take and have RFJ run as an independent, it's going to destroy Biden. This might the Democrats are flipping the fuck out. They're already destroying his credibility. They are yes, we do want to see Kennedy. We want him to take as many votes from Joe Biden as he possibly can. That is exactly what we want. You have no idea if he will go independent or not. I don't care. Do you know the last time a Democrat has, or any politician has ran against an incumbent president? Go look it up. If this guy can steal votes, you want him.
Hopefully it'll make Democrats see what they actually currently have right now. And they don't,
He won't win the primary.
But maybe it'll get enough people going, wait a second. Joe Biden just isn't.
No, folks, you're not listening. I don't think anyone's here understanding what I'm saying. I think he can win. That's not what I'm saying. He is going to poll what Jill Stein did for Trump, polling votes from Hillary Clinton, what Ross Perot did for Bill Clinton by polling votes from Bush. A Kennedy will poll votes from Joe Biden and Joe Biden only, especially if he runs the primary, loses, and then decides to put himself on the ticket as an independent. Don't you understand? And then if he gets 7% of the vote, he gets to go ahead and get up on the debate stage. We want him. Every single Republican should be putting money in Kennedy's pocket. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? This is chess, not checkers. This is what Soros does, is he goes ahead and he takes the weak Republican and gives them a god-awful amount of money. This is why people are so upset about DeSantis getting money from unknown dollars in the Bushes. Why do you think the Bushes are donating to DeSantis? They don't like him. They hate Trump. That's why they're donating. We should be standing behind Kennedy as much as we can, and the liberals are melting down. All of the DNC machine, which are the 37 people on Twitter, the Krasenstein brothers, the Jill Chick, the guy that looks like Steven Spielberg, all of those people are flipping out and just destroying Kennedy's credibility. He's a conspiracy theorist. He believes in the World Trade Center. He believes in the stolen election. They're trying to destroy him right now because they know he's a threat to Joe. Nobody wants anyone running against an incumbent because it encourages other Democrats to run against the sitting president. Think, people. Listen to what they're saying. They are terrified of this guy because no vote. Joe is going to get by. He won by, what was it? 65,000 votes when you really want to talk about it? When you really want to break it down. Donald Trump did not lose by that much. Now, yes, 1 million votes over all the states, but look at the swing states and look at the actual numbers. It was very close. Because nobody gives a fuck about the popular vote. It doesn't mean anything. We're not a high school. We're not voting for prom queen and king. If you can take 3% of the vote and kick it over to Trump because that guy literally siphons votes from Biden, don't you understand with the 3 million Democrats that have jumped to the Republican side, you've got yourself a Republican president. If you push for Kennedy to get into this primary, go as far as he can and run as an independent, all it does is help Trump. Play chess, not checkers. Legal votes. I'm not going to get into the voting scam tonight. We got to go. I got to let my beautiful wife go. Folks.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So Newsom's campaigning right now.
He's going around.
I'm reading an article about it, and they're saying he says he's not running, but
he's waiting in the wings in case Joe Biden hasn't announced for a reason. Do you want to go over this real quick? Go ahead and read us.
Sure.
Tell us the article because I would love for you to do this.
Well, it's just that he was in Jackson, Mississippi with his wife and kids a few days ago, and he tweeted the photo of him there and said
he was in Florida today.
To be in Jackson, so it's like
he was in Florida
looks
today.
Like he's running for president, but he hasn't said he's going to.
See, this is why, okay? Because he's an institutionalized person. Kennedy's not. If Newsom announces he's done in the Democratic Party, he has to wait his turn. Do you understand DeSantis is doing the same thing? You're talking about 2 80-year-old candidates. They need somebody in the wings. Folks, it's like you guys have not even fucking watched politics your whole life. I'm sorry that I see it like it's literally right in front of me, like it's a hockey game. Newsom is going to wait in the wings in case Biden doesn't make it and doesn't announce because of health reasons or he's too old. They're also DeSantis is waiting in the wings in case Trump doesn't as well. Don't you understand that this is what this is about? That DeSantis and Newsom, could you get any more alike as far as opposite coins, but still having roughly the same age, the same disposition, the same look, the same demeanor? You get rid of Biden because he's too old. He can't make it. Boom, Newsom steps in. You go ahead and you have Trump who fucking gets charges or decides not to run or whatever, doesn't win the primary. You got DeSantis to run in. Folks, the government is not going to allow you not to have options. Do you understand that? They can't. They can't allow the system to fail by not providing you options. But Kennedy is not something they planned. Ross Perot is not something they planned. Jill Stein is not something they planned. Ralph Nader isn't something they planned for. These Green Party or independent candidates that come in and siphon votes from one candidate literally throw a monkey wrench in the equation. If Kennedy gets on there and runs as an independent, Joe Biden will lose. I'm telling you right now, Joe Biden will lose. I don't care how fucking crazy this guy is. Independents will love him. Just slow down and watch this unfold because the next 16 to 17 months is going to be some of the best in politics because we don't have COVID. Emergency powers are no longer here. The Supreme Court is voting on mail-in ballots over the next hopefully a couple weeks. Hang tight. This is going to get interesting. What else? Is that it?
That's it.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Hey, go buy some shirts, man. I've got some cool shirts going for you. We got the new Come and Get It shirt. We've got the salt gun shirt that came in. We've got God shirt. We've got a 1776 USA shirt. Some cool hats. The Awake But Not Woke shirt. Stop by the site. You don't have to play the video. This is www. Or, I can't believe I'm doing that. TheDumbShow.com. That's all you need to do. Go to TheDumbShow.com, and you can follow us at The Dumb Show. You can find us across all social media. Podcast listeners as well. If you listen to the podcast, great. We love that. We appreciate it. Remember, we're Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live. This is an extra bonus show. Tomorrow, we will be live. Friday night, feeling all right. It's Red Friday. Make sure to wear your red. We will have a recorded show as well. And I will get this video out in regards to the marketing and the wokeism video. And I'll have a new recorded show tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me get a little vulgar tonight and cuss. I got fired up. I appreciate you. Love you. And we will see you guys. Remember, listen to this message. It's important. What are you laughing at?
Kristen says, the salty hoodie. None of your U.S. dollars will ever go to Ukraine.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, folks, go get something. Remember, if you do subscribe to the Don't Unfriend Me group, lower left-hand corner of your phone, there's a little box. It's like Aqua. Click that. You can subscribe to the Dumb Nation group. It's a private group. Got about 60 people in there, probably the most loyal Don't Unfriend Me fans. It's $1.99 a month. You get 15% off merch, and it allows you to kind of go in there, and I interact a little more with those people. We post a little bit more in there, and we just have some conversations. It's a fun place. Come on in, say hello, and join the team. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, we're on 8 o'clock, and I'll have a recorded show for you. Watch the rest of this. Take care of veterans. God bless. Good night.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team. Good job. And we have an important message for returning vets.
We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help, and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service to our country. We're able to enjoy our freedoms because of it.
Your service is important. You are important.
For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help 24 hours a day. Please call